Saturday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Batters Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Thanks for being here with us. What a day yesterday. Jarvis Landry signs with the New Orleans Saints. That broke shortly after we started our show at 3 o'clock, so timing worked out really well. And, of course, LSU-Ole Miss postponed. They had just gotten underway, really, but it was eventful. An eventful start to that ball game. They will resume today at 11 a.m. with LSU trailing 4-2. And then they'll play. They'll dodge some rain, likely. So, anyway, see if they can get this one in today. Bottom of the third, Ole Miss leading 4-2, and then if they get this one done and they're able to dodge the raindrops, the game 2 will start 50 minutes after the conclusion of game 1. So a bummer how it went down. My goodness, you get a homer from Dylan Cruz in the first, and you're up 2-0, and so you spot Mikhail Hilliard a 2-run lead, and you're feeling pretty good. And then you unravel. Mikhail Hilliard gets a strikeout that should have gotten you out of the inning, but Tyler McManus can't block it up, and runner goes to first, and then Ole Miss puts together a couple of 2-out hits and scores 4 runs, and now you're down 4-2 in the third. So, it'll be really interesting to see what it'll be really interesting to see what Jay Johnson does on the mound, because Mikhail's burned. Mikhail threw he was over 50 pitches. Mikhail was at 60 pitches, so he's done. He's done for the weekend. He's burned. He's not coming back. So you have to figure out a way. You look at this essentially as if Mikhail only gave you 3 innings, as disappointing as that is. But you're going to have to go eat up 6 innings in this game, and then another 18 after that. There is, of course, the possibility that you could end up playing a 7-inning doubleheader on Sunday. And if you do that, well, then that changes things a bit, obviously, because then you're shaving 4 innings off the weekend. But, do you come back and resume game 1 with Blake Money? Or do you make this a bullpen game? Do you resume with Jacob Hasty? This Ty Floyd, this is a tough decision because it's an easier decision if you're leading. If you're leading 2-0 or 4-2, then you run Hasty out there and you say, protect my lead. But down 2 runs, do you burn a good arm when you're trailing? Or do you say, hey, Ty Floyd, see how much you can give me here? Or maybe, as weird as this may sound, maybe you make that decision based on what happens when you come to bat here in the bottom of the third. So, unenviable. But the flip side of it that's really good is Ole Miss's pitching staff has been atrocious this year. And they essentially got 2 innings out of their Friday night guy. DeLucia, who's really kind of been consistent for them. So, let's see how many pitches he threw. DeLucia thrown 36 pitches. So he doesn't need to be done for the weekend. They could bring him back, but if you bring him back, you're not bringing him back today. But if you bring him back, say for game 3 or day 3, you mess up your rotation now. He ain't gonna be ready for Friday. So, or actually, I think the final weekend they do Thursday, Friday, Saturday now, don't they? Didn't they start that because of the SEC tournament? Yeah, next weekend's Thursday. So you throw DeLucia, if you bring him back on Sunday, he's not pitching Thursday against for them in their finale. So, all right, let's say some good mornings. Jarvis signs with the Saints, fired up for it. Had horrible rain in the area yesterday, including hail. There was hail at Segan and Highland. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the HUDCO link. Y'all know the drill. I'm telling you, y'all don't wait. Like I hate to say this, but it's like we had business owner 3-story building on Wednesday called that water coming in from the 3rd floor leaking down to the 2nd and the 1st floor. Like, if you just do your roofing inspection, we're happy to help. We went yesterday and got the repair done. If you just get your roofing inspection done, then you save yourself a lot of hassle when it does rain and weather gets like this. So anyway, okay. Let's say some good mornings. David Coslin, Spike Sylvester, Kyle DeVille, Reagan Lee. For the love of all things holy, tell me Milazzo is miraculously healthy and in the lineup today. You know what's funny, Reagan? It's like, you try to tell people, you try to impress upon people the importance of a defensive catcher and why premium positions are so important and why you'll give up a bat at a premium defensive position. And then you see something like that and it makes sense. Like, yeah, look, don't get me wrong. McManus has been swinging a great bat of late. And that's super encouraging and awesome and all that good stuff, no doubt. But y'all were having the same conversation about Travinsky when he was hitting homers at Florida. And I posed the question, what happens when he goes over 12 with 6 strikeouts in a weekend? And he did that like a weekend later. So, but it's really not even worth having the conversation because Milazzo ain't healthy and he ain't going to play. And so this is what it is. So Randy Bennett, good morning. Patrick McKenzie, good morning. Stephen Strahan, Kirk Taylor, Jeff McKiffin, Kenneth Westbrook, what's up? Hey, Dad, good morning. Bubba Tatum. What time it stopped raining down there? Why can't they play after the rain? You mean today or last night? I mean, I know the weather. There was a storm system coming through from the west last night, which is why they decided to postpone it. Patrick Cason, Brant Roban, morning Scone. You think the rain delay should be in LSU's favor? LSU needs 2 W's today. Arkansas lost. A&M came back and barely won. Yeah, A&M beating Mississippi State. That stinks. Because if you're LSU and you're scoreboard watching a little bit, you need the teams ahead of you to lose, or teams around you to lose. And A&M and Auburn are kind of in that mix, and they both have series wins over you in Baton Rouge. So yeah, you need Mississippi State to go to take a series against A&M, and they lost last night 8-7 or 9-8. Hey, Kelly Gross, good morning. Kyle DeVille, what does your person close to the Saints organization say about signing a running back? They haven't gotten word there what he's referring to. So on Tuesday on AFR, there was the report that Jarvis was getting interest from, I think, the Ravens. And so on AFR, I'm like, look, I would love if Jarvis Landry comes to the Saints. He's one of my favorite LSU players of all time. He is. He would help create a 3-headed monster receiver. I would love it, love it, love it, love it. I said, I don't think it makes sense for Jarvis. Because with Michael Thomas, you just drafted Chris Olave, and Kamara catches 80 balls a year. There just aren't enough, targets to go around. If I were him, I'd go somewhere else. And I finished that segment. I get a text from, as he termed it, someone very close to the Saints organization. And the text just read, Jarvis signing with the Saints. Or Jarvis signing with Saints. And I was like, done deal? I was like, minicamp. I was like, okay. So at that point, I was like, all right, be prepared. Here it comes. But I'm fired up for it. I'm fired up to see Jarvis in New Orleans. Okay, babe. You have a good time. Erica's going. See? I knew it. How about that?
It's going to be a big day.
I don't think there's any visitors. I don't think there's any visitors. I think it's just me and Drew. I think it's just me and Drew here.
I don't know. I heard somebody twinkle through a while there.
Trivia Carter, what's up? Elite Goods LLC. Jason Mobile, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Brian Penton, good morning from Charlottesville, Virginia. Brad Johnson, Greg Mathern, Carson McManus. Let's see. They need to re-sign Quan and then sign Darrell Williams. Complete change from Peyton. You see, Carson, that's not true. Like, they tried to sign Odell last year. He picked the Rams. Like, in 2014, they were going to draft Jeremy Hill in round 2. And the Bengals took him like 2 picks ahead. I mean, it is the stupidest argument. I cannot believe. I mean, I guess I can because it's fans. Like, and fans just you just look at things through a different lens. It's just this whole the Saints hate LSU. Bye, babe. Or it's just the stupidest thing. Like, you don't like choose not to draft good players from a certain school. You just, as a fan, think that the NFL team should always draft the guy from your team, which you don't know how their board looks. You don't know what their needs are. You don't know how they scouted a player. How many? I tell you what. Here's something for you. Let's see. Let's see. The Georgia Bulldogs just set a record with 15 players drafted, including 5 in round 1. Their campus is less than an hour from Atlanta. Let's see. Did the Atlanta Falcons take anybody from Georgia? Let's see. Southern Cal, Penn State, Montana State, Cincinnati, Western Kentucky, BYU. Oh, Justin Schaefer. They took one from Georgia. I mean, what are we doing here, guys? Like, are we just like pretending that that the Saints hate LSU players? Or does your board have to line up a certain way? Joey B19, what's good? Are we still in the running for a national seed? Yeah, man. I would say, now look, it's going to be a stretch, okay? But if you win this series against Ole Miss and you win the series against Vanderbilt, that puts you at 18-12, okay? 18-12. And playing into the weekend in Hoover would put you at 20 overall SEC wins. That could do it if things line up your way. You may need to go win the SEC tournament. But, I would say, if you get to 18, you have an outside shot. Not good, but you have an outside shot. But we'll see. Jason Mobile, your juice rant yesterday was pretty awesome. Football season can't get here fast enough. Who dat? Wendell Norman, what's good? Merrick, where's Helmers and Edwards? Yeah, just not guys that they're counting on. I mean, by this point, you've identified 10 arms or so that you really trust and you're giving the ball to. So, strong side. Good morning, Scone. Lots of baseball to be played today. Hopefully, the bats will come alive for both games. Ultimate Warrior, Jeffrey Bone. Good morning, Curtis First Catholic. It's not tonight. It's Jeffrey. I think they moved it to tomorrow. I think they moved it to Sunday because of the weather. Let's see. Frank Zubia, good morning, Matt. People forget to mention Alvin Kamara, running back, Taysom Hill with receiver combo sounds pretty potent to me. Yeah, and a healthy offensive line, for sure. Patrick Dorsey, good morning, Scone. Yesterday, we reversed the Friday the 13th bad luck curse. Ace Wolfpack at LSU Juice to the Houdat. That's the other thing I forgot to mention in the headline there is Adam Miller did in fact announce that he's returning to LSU. Massive news. We actually led AFR with that, and I mean, during the first segment while I'm doing the Adam Miller stories when the Jarvis news broke. So good start to the show for sure yesterday. All right. Y'all smash that like button. Eric Wilderod or Jarvis is my literal favorite LSU player of all time. I'm mostly excited about the hopeful death of Traquan's NFL career. That's going to be interesting, right? I mean, typically you keep 5 receivers on an active roster. And you will make room for a 6th if that person is a special teams ace. For example, Courtney Roby for a lot of years was that guy. You know, he returned kickoffs for you. He was your gunner on punts and kickoffs. So he was listed as a receiver, but really he was a special teams ace. Kind of like Dwayne Washington. He's a running back, but really he's on the team for special teams. So that will be interesting because if you go Thomas, Olave, Jarvis, that's your first, that's 3 that you know are locked in. Deontay Hardy, who's your return guy, you gotta believe is locked in, and then Marquez Callaway would be number 5. I mean, unless if Traquan steps up and beats out one of those guys, which is hard for me to imagine, or if you keep a 6th, which, I mean, they just signed that undrafted kid out of the FCS to a the return specialist to a $200,000 signing bonus. So that could be your 6th guy right there if you keep one. Trivia, don't go, E-Rock. E-Rock is going to get her cut and color today. What she was asking was if the hair cut and color fairy was showing up today. Tomas, what's good, man? Beyond everything, Landry also brings knowledge of the AFC North, which we play this year. That's true. Salient point. Merrick Mathern, is the hair fairy making a... There you go. Ryan Pike, week 1, Utah at Florida, Oregon, Georgia, and Atlanta. I'm pumped. I miss college football so much. You still got a little ways to go, though, Ryan. I mean, not trying to throw a wet blanket on your excitement, but, I mean, it's May. I mean, you still got 3.5 months. We're close, though. We're close. Joseph Fine, what's good? Gulf South, I think 2010 and a deep SEC tournament run is needed for national seed for this particular team. Maybe so, but in a general year, Gulf South, I tell you, 20 is really your benchmark. You get to 20, you're going to be a national seed. With rare exceptions, that's been the case in the SEC. But there are also years where I think bear with me here, because I want to say. I want to say maybe 14 or 16. Okay, here you go. 2014, LSU was 17-11-1, and they were a national seed. So, and then I think 16 was similar as well. 16 was 19-11. So it's happened where LSU's gotten a national seed and not gotten to 20 wins. So you can do it, but it's probably one of those things where you're going to have to go make a deep run in Hoover, if not win the tournament, right? So you can do it at 18-12. They did it 17-11-1 in 2014. So they can do it at 18-12, but you got to get to 18-12 and make a run in Hoover to be in the conversation. Kirk Taylor, Hilliard comes back today. No, he's burned, brother. I mean, he threw 60 pitches. He's done for the weekend. And remember, this week, you play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The SEC started doing that where all the teams the final weekend play Thursday, Friday, Saturday because SEC tournament starts, I mean, for the teams that have to go in the play-in on Tuesday. So it's a quick turnaround. It's a quick turnaround. So no, Hilliard will not pitch again this weekend. Alex Cuoni, what's going on? Well, I love you too. That's very nice. Stephen Fry, what's going on? Ole Miss's bullpen is terrible. LSU can slug their way out of this one at just a 4-2 deficit. I agree that they can, but Ole Miss has bats as well, Kirk, and that's the point you can't miss, which is, I mean, they get to keep hitting too. Can LSU score 3 more runs the rest of the way? Absolutely. But so can Ole Miss. So you got to really be very measured with how you handle this because you're losing. Jake Lopez, is the unfinished game going to be televised? No, both games today are on SEC Network Plus. Earl Joseph Lytle, good morning. Hilliard was serving up beach balls. He was out of the inning. I mean, he got a strikeout. His catcher couldn't block the ball. I mean, he would have been out of the inning. So, whatever. Chance Babbitt, just an observation, maybe Dennis Allen being an A&M guy likes LSU players. Has nothing to do with it. Dennis Allen's been with the Saints for the entire time Sean Payton was there, with the exception of the 1 year he spent in Denver and the 2+ that he spent in Oakland. David Wallace, good morning. Jeffrey Bone, Curtis beats Catholic tonight. That's going to be a hell of a trick because they don't play tonight. Kenneth Kyle, how about basketball? McMahon is insane so far. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this. The SEC in basketball certainly has a top tier right now, which is Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Auburn. And LSU next year is not going to be better than any of those 4. Like, they're not going to finish above any of those 4 in the standings. But that next tier of Bama, A&M, LSU, Florida, I think this team is still in that clump. In that tier, ahead of Georgia, Missouri, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, South Carolina. So, I mean, and they got 1 roster spot left. They got 1 scholarship left. I mean, let's see if they can go get some more length. If your starting 5 is Justice Hill at the point, Adam Miller at the 2, and Wani at the 3, and then you start, let's say, Kendall Coleman and KJ Williams. Kendall Coleman's 6'8", 220, who averaged a double-double last year at Northwestern State as a freshman. Get him a little bigger, a little stronger. And then KJ Williams, a 5th-year player, was the Ohio Valley Player of the Year. I mean, he averaged 18 and 8 last year. I mean, 6'10", 245. I mean, that's a good starting 5. And then, when you start talking about your depth, you're talking about guys like Cam Hayes and Derek Fountain and Trey Hannibal, guys who played 30, 40, 50 career collegiate games. So, I think Trey Hannibal's played 60 career. I looked it up yesterday. Played 60 career games. I mean, so you've got some depth, some experience, and you still got one more spot to go. I mean, this is a team that should finish above 500 in conference play. Now, I don't think they're going to be eligible for the postseason. I think they will get an NCAA postseason ban. But, I mean, when you think about what Will Wade inherited from Johnny Jones after they won 2 games, and he didn't have the transfer portal, and he was getting guys like Randy Onwasser and Jeremy Combs. I mean, it's impressive, And I'm certain that NIL has a lot to do with this, but who cares? It's how the rules are going right now. Let's see, Stephen, how much influence does Dennis Allen have over personnel? Do you think Matthew and Landry are with the Saints and Peyton is still the head coach? Yes. Yes, I do. You needed a safety. Tyrann Mathieu was when Malcolm Jenkins retired, Tyrann Mathieu was the best safety available as a box safety. Yeah, I do. I mean, they tried to sign Odell last year. Sean Payton didn't hate LSU players. It's so stupid. I hate this freaking argument. It's somehow, over the years, LSU fans have allowed this to become this snowballed argument about how the Saints hate LSU players. It's the stupidest thing ever. Why would you intentionally limit your franchise by just blackballing a single university? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Well, why didn't they draft anybody? Who do you want to draft? The people you always bring up is, we didn't draft Jarvis. They drafted Brandon Cooks in the first round. You want them to go back-to-back receivers in that draft in 2014? Yo, to ride it. And actually, the guy that Sean Payton wanted to draft was Jeremy Hill. He loved Jeremy Hill, was going to draft Jeremy Hill in round 2 in 2014. The Bengals took him like 2 picks before. So they drafted Stanley Jean-Baptiste. And that sucked. One of the worst picks ever. Anyway. Okay. Kyle Milliken, what's going on? Is she going to see Lewis? It's a hair day. Cut and color today. Not a nail day. Jacob Willis, I wish we could get Ardoin to the Cather from Texas, his little brother from Sam Houston High School. Dale Broussard, play the jingle and get it over with. No, Dale. Gonna make you wait, bro. Gonna make you wait. Darren Gagnon, how about Miller returning? Yep. Huge. Scott Wilson. Sure you've spoken this a million times. Who starts at quarterback for the Tigers? Who transfers out? Yeah, we have talked about it a million times. I don't know who's going to start. My guess is that it'll be Jaden Daniels. But I think Jaden Daniels or Miles Brennan are your two guys. I don't think you bring in Daniels if you didn't intend to play him. If he flat gets outplayed by one of the other guys, sure, start one of the other guys. And I'll be curious, as far as the transfer thing, keep in mind that so Jaden Daniels can't go anywhere and play immediately. So he ain't going nowhere, right? I mean, he used his one-time transfer to come to LSU. So he can't transfer and play. So he's staying. Brennan, as a graduate, could transfer. But the question is, where are you going to go in, say, August? Let's say camp is starting in, it's August, mid-August, and it appears as though Jaden Daniels is taking over and Brennan's going to leave. Where's he going to go? He probably have to go down a level to play, which he could. Walker Howard's going to redshirt, and that's no big deal. Nussmeier, I think, really is the big question mark. So what if what if they settle in on Brennan or Daniels? Is Nussmeier willing to wait another year? And I don't know that answer. I just don't know him well. If he seems like a kid who's always wanted to play for LSU, he claims Lake Charles, and son of a coach, so you would hope that he's got a little bit of patience and direction and guidance there. But I think there's a chance, there's an argument to be made that you can keep all those guys. But I also understand that it's just the nature and culture of college football now. Guys don't stay at that position. Derek Adams, how about Jay Johnson? The job he's done this year, he basically inherited a team that he didn't pick, regardless of the outcome this season. They're a strong team to make a run. He and Jason Kelly have done a magnificent job of managing this roster, this pitching staff, this team. And it's kind of been, building the bridge as you cross it. He's had to learn his players, who can do what. Ultimately made a call to get some young guys in the lineup in the outfield with Pearson and Stevenson. It's been a massively, massively impressive day or year for them to be where they are, considering how they started and the fact that they have no starting pitching. Michael Cook, what's going on? Big shout out to the boys from Berwick and Lutcher in the 3A finals. Good luck, Ryan Jensen. Okay, good luck to all of them. Earl, Ole Miss series scared me because they're coming in like a wounded animal fighting for their NCAA lives. Vandy's starting to get hot. Yeah, Vandy beat Arkansas last night. Had a freshman that beat Connor Nolan at Baumwalker, and that's tough. Vandy's very talented. It's surprising that they've had the season they've had considering the talent they have. Catherine Babineau, good morning. Found it this week. My husband and I are expecting a girl in November. We'll see if she's as big as her cousin. So that's awesome. Congrats, Catherine. Cheers to you and your family. Prayers for safe pregnancy and healthy baby and all the good stuff that comes along with it. And lots of poop diapers that hopefully don't smell very bad. Let's see. Kelly Kells. I know you don't like Traquan Smith, but before Jameis got hurt, looked like they were building chemistry. He was making plays. Is he trying to ruin my Saturday morning? Jonathan Lambert, Matt, postseason means just the NCAA tournament, not SEC, correct? You know, Jonathan, I don't think so. I think you can't participate because if you were to win the SEC tournament, then you would have the automatic bid from the league. And I don't think they would want to risk that, right? So no, I don't think if you have a postseason ban, I don't think you can play they wouldn't let you play in the SEC tournament.
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone and Terrio.
All you need is Hudco.
Call Hudco Roofing. 364-1007.
Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Link is tagged in the comments, pinned in the comments. Y'all give us a shout. That's for you, Dale Broussard. All right. YouTube, smash that like button. Alex Barnes, saw a truck with GameCoin sticker on the back. How do we get one of those? Good question, Alex. Don't know. I don't know whose truck that was, but I could ask. Let's keep the LSU to the Saints train going. Darrell Williams is next. Tennessee, Oregon State versus the Field. Who you got? Field. And it's just too hard. Like, I mean, we saw Arkansas last year be the best team in college baseball, not get out of their super regional. You know, we always bring up Vandy in 2013 when they went 26-3 in the league and lost their super regional. We've seen Coastal Carolina win a national championship. Juan, A&M dodging games. They're not dodging games. They're doing a smart thing, which is what I've told y'all forever, like about midweek games. Like, it doesn't matter if they play, if they win or lose. They could win that game and it hurts their RPI. They could win that game and it hurts their RPI just playing it. It's better for them not to play the game than to play it. For those who don't, A&M canceled their midweek game this week against Incarnate Word because they're fighting for a regional host site and their RPI would be borderline and they don't want to hurt their RPI by playing Incarnate Word. So they just canceled the game. Midweek games, so important. Elite Goods, let's see, worried about Trevor. He's going to throw someone through the tint over the outside feeling on to Airline Highway. Worried about Trevor? I don't know what that means. Trivia, is Lenny Moss back? I don't know. Lenny did give us a honk yesterday. Eric, out of curiosity, we did that one. Shane Danos, good morning. Headed to BR from Lake Charles for the game. Safe, very good, man. Safe travels today. Hopefully the weather cooperates. Benoit, 479. Matt, do you think Sean Payton is regretting his decision to leave? No, don't. I think he was ready to step aside, so it's all good. Glenn Garner, morning, Matt. Saints going to be dangerous this year. I agree. I would most definitely go over the 7.5. I can't believe Vegas has their win total at 7.5. Like, that feels like stealing to me. I think it really started when the Saints chose Marcus Lattimore over Trey White, which worked out fine. That's Marshawn Lattimore. And yeah, that's worked out fine. And I don't think that's when it started because people definitely bitched about Jarvis Landry in 2014. What's up, Brett Dagro? Strong side. Congrats to Shoudron High winning the Class B state championship. There you go. Merrick Mathern. Does Daniels have 1 or 2 years of eligibility left? So he's got 2 because he's got the COVID year. But my understanding was when he went to Arizona State, he was going to be a 3-and-done guy. But obviously the COVID year happened. His stats, fell off. And I think if he had his druthers, he would already be in the NFL. I don't think he's got much tolerance to play 2 more years of college football. Glenn finally got Facebook yesterday. Tell E-Rock I'll contact her tomorrow since today's hair day. So I can send her the wax. Okay. Glenn's going to send E-Rock some candles. Good. Perfect. Love it. Aaron Hornsby, good morning. Barry, what's going on? Floated the idea to the higher-ups about Michele because we're ISO 17025. They came in, calibrated our scales, Thanks for the info on them. I love that, dude. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I am gonna be at the game tomorrow with Joel and Sean McMullen. So very cool. That's awesome. Thanks for letting me know that. I'll pass it on. I will not in any way mention your name, however, your fake name. Chemo Slice, what's good? Taz, fair to say, Jameis' career as a starting quarterback is on the line this year with the weapons the Saints surrounded him with. It's definitely a prove-it year, no question. It's definitely a prove-it year for Jameis if he stays healthy. They signed him to a 2-year deal, and essentially it feels like this is his opportunity to prove if he's going to be a long-term option. And if he is, great. Then after this season, you sign him to a long-term deal. If not, you go into 2023 with Jameis on the last year of his deal, and you make your determination what you're going to do from there. Draft a quarterback, free agent, whatever. Dave Vinder, have you ever seen a player that has oppo power like Dylan Cruz? Well, sure. I mean, come on. Ever? Sure. The better question would be as a college sophomore. And that's a little dicier. When you talk about a guy that has power to all fields as a sophomore in college, it's rare. I mean, because those guys rarely show up on campus, right? Usually power is the last thing to come. So guys learn to hit to all fields, and then you learn to hit with power to all fields. When you show up on a college campus and you already have the ability to hit college pitching, hit with power to all fields against elite college pitching, it's remarkable to see. I mean, I say it all the time. Like, you are watching a big leaguer play college baseball. It's a lot of fun, man. He is special. Any word on Landry's contract? No, have not seen that. And they're definitely not done with free agency. I mean, they've let's see. They are at, let's see if they posted it yet. So, as of now, let's see. Landry's calculated market value according to Spotrac was $12 million. Saints estimated cap space remaining after Tyron's deal is $12 million and signing their rookies. So, you could certainly do a team-friendly type deal where you take a low number in year one and you backload it. That's what they regularly do. So, $12 million shown in cap space right now, but that does not include, I don't think, the Jarvis contract. As always, shout out to Brock, y'all. Baton Orthopedic Clinic, of course. The After Hours Clinic is open today. Smash that like button if you're watching. Thanks so much. Appreciate you there on YouTube. After Hours Clinic at Brock. So if you need an orthopedist today, go to Brock, bypass the ER. Perkins near Bluebonnet, inside of the Surgical Specialty Center. First floor, you walk into SSS. You're looking straight at Brock. brortho.com. brortho.com. Charlie Gale, what's up? Stephen Fry shooting out of the box today with my buddy that played at Ole Miss. Just so happens to be the Johnny Bench Award winner. Just wanted you in the chat to know I'm tiger baiting him as soon as I open the door to his vehicle. Very good. Kyle DeVille isn't about having people connected to organizations who they trust to assess talent. I'm not sure what that's about. Trey Bagby, Matt Traquan's going to feast against the fifth DB on the field. When do you ever put 5 receivers on the field? You won't. He won't play. Rode Ewell, Thompson is the best shortstop on the roster. McManus is the best healthy catcher on the roster. Who we are, score a lot of runs. Yeah, I'm with you. Kerry Hughes, how was Saints Bengals not a primetime game? So, Kerry, talked about this yesterday. I think that's an instance where if you're an LSU fan, you have to put yourself in the mindset of the rest of the league. Hang on one second. All right. So, Kerry. Tom Brady played his college ball at Michigan. If he goes and plays the game against the Lions, should that be primetime? Matt Stafford played at Georgia. The Rams go play the Falcons. Should that be primetime? The point is, the NFL-loving world does not care at all that Joe Burrow played at LSU an hour from the Superdome, or that he played his final college game in the Dome. Most people don't remember where championship games are played. Like, do you remember where the national championship game 6 years ago was? 2017? Was that the Bama Georgia one in Atlanta, or was that one of the Clemson ones? You see my point? Like, the collective football world doesn't care that Joe Burrow played his college football an hour from the Superdome. They don't care. It's not like we care that Joe Burrow's coming back this way, and we're going to be excited about it. But the collective NFL community doesn't care where Joe Burrow played his college football. That's just the reality. Stephen Dufour, come on, LOL. I didn't say they hated LSU players. I was just curious if Allen's input changed the way they view certain guys. It's okay, Stephen. I'm just triggered on that conversation. Aaron Hornsby, what's up? Yeah, so Kelly Kell said Devontae Freeman split time with Murray. They signed Devontae Freeman last year and then cut him. I don't think they're going to kick the tires there again. I do think they'll bring in another running back. I don't think it'll be him. I mean, I would rather you look at Tariq Cohen or Phillip Lindsay, one of these guys that's been a solid NFL running back at times in his career, and if you can kind of have a little career resurgence as a backup, that's probably the better way to go. All right, Aaron Hornsby got the beer flowing early. The pit is lit. Lamb chops and halved lamb leg. Man, I'll come to your house. It's awesome. Dale Broussard, Texas 8-4 should cancel their SEC West football games so they don't hurt their CFP chances. Let's see. So we'll get some random Dallas game on primetime. That sucks. I don't know. Let's see. NFL primetime schedule. Let's see. NFL Week 6 schedule. Whoops. That's not what I want. That was from last year. 2022 NFL Week 6 schedule. All right, here we go. So Dallas, Philly is Sunday Night Football. So you get Dallas. Is it Washington, Chicago Thursday? Or is that a Sunday game? And then Monday is Denver at the Chargers. Russell Wilson and Justin Herbert in LA. I get it. I'm not saying you're not interested in the Bengals. I'm just telling you, it just don't matter. I mean, Paul, I'm with you on it. But Dallas draws. That's an undeniable fact. There are Dallas Cowboy fans all over the country. The Cowboys, the Packers, the Steelers. I mean, those are national brands. They draw. They always do. They're going to get primetime games, whether they're good or not, because people will watch. I'm not disagreeing with you. That's just the reality of it. If you're a schedule maker and you're putting games in primetime, you're thinking what games are going to be either significant competitively, what games will have appealing storylines like Brady going back to New England, or when Breeze is you said to break a record, you try to time that out or something like that. So you put that in prime time. You know, we're all excited about Bengals Saints, but for the collective NFL, they're looking at that as just okay. Well, whatever. How's that any different than the Falcons in the Bengals, or the Bucks in the Bank? I mean, the Bucks Bengals might be more interesting nationally because you get Tom Brady against Joe Burrow. All right. YouTube, smash that like button. 112 watching, only 43 likes. If we can get those likes up, that'd be awesome, and I'd really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody watching with us here on Facebook as well. Appreciate y'all. Why is college football championship not sanctioned by the NCAA? Because, Merrick, they outsourced it years ago to the bowl games. College football decided that they were going to, the powers that be, that decided they were going to make money through the bowl system instead of having a NCAA championship. So it's a money grab. And it's the stupidest thing when I hear people say, oh, it's too many games, or that, like, they do it in the FCS. They play 15 games. It's just, they're doing it right now. But it's just so stupid. I mean, the whole too many games argument, they've blown that out the water. I mean, you're at a point already where you play 12 regular season games, a conference championship game, and then potentially a semifinal, and finally you play 15 games. I mean, the too many games argument is stupid. It's just a money grab. It's always been a money grab. So you outsource to the college football playoff, and you do the TV deal, and you control the money independently, and that's why. It's never been about what's fair or equitable or what's best for college football or preserving the regular season or any of that crap. It's always been about money. Always. Just too many people have gone hook, line, and sinker and taken that stupid argument about the preserving the sanctity of the regular season and all that crap. Oh yeah, the sanctity of a regular season where we're going to be treated week one of the LSU home opener to LSU against Southern. I mean, great for Southern to catch a huge paycheck, but competitively on the field, who wants to see that? Who wants to watch LSU-ULM or LSU-Utah State? Nobody wants to see it, but it's a gate. I mean, LSU will take in $4, $5, $6, $7 million for a home game. So, I mean, so you put that game on the schedule, easy win, and you bankroll your athletic department. Anyway, Glenn Garner, it was super funny yesterday watching Hill being too fast for his weak arm. Yeah, that was funny. It's stranger that, I think that was Wednesday, but it's stranger that the Dolphins thought that was a good idea to put that out there. Eric, wonder if all the weapons on the offense take pressure off the Saints replacing Kamara during his suspension. Maybe that was part of the Jarvis calculus. I don't know necessarily. I just think that the Saints were the worst wide receiving core in the NFL last year, and so you needed to address it, and they did. Bengal Tiger, what is the penalty when the team exceeds the cap? You can't. Like, you literally can't. It's not like in the NBA where you have a luxury tax. You cannot. Like, you have to be within cap compliance. There is no option. Elite Goods, I broke my screen pressing the like button. Thank you. Chemo Slice, you good with the Week 14 bye? I love it just because Chemo Slice, I'll tell you, talking to guys who've played over the years, they'll tell you they prefer a later bye because by the time you get to the end of the season, like, you want a week off. Having an early bye is the worst because if you have a week 5, like last year they had the week 6 bye, well then you end up playing, after you play your 5th game, you have the week 6 bye, and then you play 12 consecutive weeks. It's to finish the season. If you make the playoffs, then you're gassed going into the playoffs. Yes, I'm good with a late bye. Landry can make up to $6 million this year. That's how his contract is lined up. So, I mean, if that's it, well, I'm not so much worried about what he's going to make, more how it's structured. So that way, what his cap number is. Because if they have $12 million in cap space, well, what's his cap hit? That'll let you know how much freedom you have to go spend the rest of this offseason. Cajunomics, I'm just here to say I'm sorry for ever complaining about Malazzo's bat. I don't care if he strikes out every AB. His position is most important defensively. Slowly will convert you all. Gulf South, over under 3.5. The amount of times the TV announcers mentioned the last time Burrow Chase played in the Dome, they won a title. I think that's a good number, 3.5. Like, I think it's probably one of those things where they'll roll highlights of it. I don't know that they revisit it 4 times throughout the game, though. Jeremy Martin, good morning. Jonathan Martin, excuse me. Jeremy Newslock. How much cap space is left after the Landry deal? Don't know. They haven't. That's why I was saying they haven't posted yet the structure of it. What makes the Panthers think Peyton wants to coach there? I don't know necessarily that they think he would. But if you're them and you think you might be moving on from Matt Rule after this year, wouldn't you make the call? Right? I mean, it's just like any free agent. I mean, you make the call. You make them tell you no. Why is Alontae Taylor the only draft pick not signed? Great question. And I don't know the answer to that because especially now when you have slot value for draft picks, like you don't really have much of an argument. So I don't know what I don't know. I don't know. And I even looked it up. Like for the 49th pick, the total value of his contract is like $7.2 million. He gets like $2 million at signing, and his cap number year 1 is 1.3. Like it's all written out there. I don't know what he's trying to negotiate, or maybe he just doesn't want to be out there for rookie minicamp. So he's I don't know. Let's see. Cody Boudreaux. Steelers are the best professional sports franchise in the world. They've certainly been stable. They've been stable for a long time. Good ownership there. I'd say I don't know if I'd say they're the best in the world, but they're on the short list in the NFL. Which is so funny though, because prior to the 70s with Chuck and Ole, like they weren't. They sucked. Taz, 12-5 record. I'm confident. I don't know that I'd go 12-5. I probably like him 10-7. And I think that should be good enough to get you in the playoffs. Brutal schedule, man. The middle of it. Brutal. Buy Sunday ticket for non-national. Joey B19. How in the world is LSU's win total? Vegas only 6. It's not. It's at 7.5. They're at 7.5, which I think is. I mean, shoot. I've been saying that forever. That's where Vegas was gonna peg it. But 7.5 is probably right. You know. Any word on Quan? Got to bring him back. No word yet on Quan. And I'm actually okay if they don't. I mean, I'd love him back, but on a team-friendly deal. I think Pete Warner's ready to roll. You drafted a linebacker as well. I think they're okay. You know, I mean, I'd love him back, but at the right price. Caleb Clemens, what's up? Joseph Fallsgraf, good morning. Juan, are they reviewing the COVID policies for NCAA and NFL? I mean, they've been purged already. They're like, there's no more contact tracing or any of that stuff. That's all been lifted. Evan Landry, will this be one of the most fun Saints teams to watch in recent years? Yeah, I mean, I would love to see them add another starter on the defensive line. And I would love to see them get depth at running back. But yeah, I mean, if Jameis plays the way that I think he's capable, you've got plenty of weapons and offensive firepower, and you've got a defensive-minded head coach who has had this defense in the top 5 in the NFL since he's been here. So, yeah, I mean, I think they could be really good. Brutal schedule. I mean, having to play the AFC North, and the NFC West, I think is a tough draw. Having to play a home game in London is a tough draw. You know, road game. Your Thursday night football game is a road game, which I hate. I hate playing on the road on a short week. But yeah, I mean, I think they're a playoff team, and I would not be surprised if this is one of those years where you just get in and you can make a run. Look at the Bengals last year. Just get in. Seth Rushing, is the cap the total amount of money you can spend on all the players' deals? Yes. Taz, Pelicans need to do what they can to draft Ivy from Purdue. He's John Morant 2.0. We are 3 days away from the draft lottery, so I am going to be very, very, very interested watching with keen attention to see if the Pels may be able to jump up from their eighth pick into the top 4, which I believe they have a 25% chance, if I read that correctly, of landing somewhere in the top 4. So, I mean, I'll take those odds. Let's see. Do Saints make a run at Odell now? Come on, I'll take him. Glenn Garner, read Miami is wanting Peyton next year also. Well, the Miami, there was reports that Miami was trying to make a run at Peyton this year. And I mean, considering they fired Flores and have just hired a new coach, I don't know that they're going to make a coaching change next year. You look at teams with sitting head coaches who might be on thin ice. Dallas and McCarthy makes sense. Matt Rule in Carolina makes sense. Chicago was one that was also rumored. But, I mean, look, let's just call it what it is. I think we all realize Dallas is the most likely. I mean, it's always been the most likely spot for Sean. What impact could Abram Smith have? I hope a really good one. That's the undrafted running back out of Baylor. 1,600-yard rusher last year. They guaranteed him $200K. For an undrafted free agent, that is a pile of money. So I hope that works out. I mean, that would be a great answer to that problem if it does. How many teams have 3 cornerbacks that can cover Thomas, Olave, and Landry? So I don't know that it's that cut and dried, right? But I understand your point. It's going to be very difficult. It's definitely a pick your poison, no doubt. The bigger question is, I think for the Saints, how you line them up to take advantage of matchups, right? Like, for example, if you're playing the Saints and you've got Marshall Lattimore on the outside, well, do you move your best receiver into the slot to have a mismatch on a nickel, right? So that's really, I think, the challenge that defenses are going to have with this team is, and really, honestly, for Pete Carmichael, it's getting lined up to exploit mismatches. Yeah, it's exciting, man. It's exciting to think about, for sure. This team looks awesome on paper, but are an injury or 2 away from a disaster. I mean, you could say that about any team, and the Saints were more injury-prone last year than any team in NFL history. They started 58 different players over the course of the season. That was a record. They still went 9-8 and should have been in the playoffs. Taylor and Kumar Rocker are waiting for better NIL deals. Kumar Rocker signed on with an independent league team this week. Are we sleeping on Ingram this year? The line was beat up last year. You're talking about Mark Ingram, I guess. I don't think so. I mean, he's a running back near the end of his career. If he makes an impact and earns a spot, awesome, fantastic. But you can't just assume that's going to happen. I think you have to prepare for the possibility that he isn't as productive, and also the likelihood that you're going to miss Kamara for 6 games. So you have to have an option there. Brett Dagger, 10-7 wild card, make the NFC Championship game. Blue Book would give it to Odd for his Otter locks. Might do that. Taz, most excited to watch the undrafted kick returner we have. Yeah, that's the guy I was referring to earlier. Division II or FCS guy has like the record for kickoff returns for a touchdown. Like that could be your special teams ace, who's your 6th receiver, so to speak, which could leave Traquan outside looking in. WinBet has LSU's over-under at 6. Easy money, right? Boy, that's interesting because I was looking up yesterday. You might want to check the date on that. I don't know if that's current. Let's see. That was April 19th, April 25th. Yeah, this was 5 days ago. Yeah, here you go. So this is 5 days ago. LSU is at, yeah, so BetMGM has the Saints right now. I'm sorry, LSU at 8.5 actually. So you might be looking at someone's projection of 6-6, but this was 5 days ago, and then BetMGM has the line, the over/under at 8.5 for LSU. And I mean, maybe this offseason it started at 6, and we've seen it bump, which would not surprise me at all. Like with the influx of transfers and the way that they've sort of steadied, that would not surprise me if we've seen that change a little bit. Paul Batts, Daniel Sinets, what's good? Steven Strahan, do baseball players visit campus like football players? I never hear player visits during games. Maybe it's done in the offseason. Absolutely, they do. And a lot of times it is done in the offseason. A lot of times you have guys, and for basketball too, you have guys come to campus for football games. Like it's such a big weekend, so much going on. That's when you get a lot of guys on campus in the fall. Big Easy 504, what's up, Tim G? Do you think Matthew can have a greater impact on the defense than the 09 Sharper? That's a good comp. That's going to be tough just because of the turnover Sharper created that year. He was so integral. I mean, he's a wretched human being, but he was so important that year. I'd love to see that. I mean, Tyron hasn't had that impact in the last few years as far as creating turnovers at that rate, but in this defense, a little bit of a rebirth. Let's see. Gulf South, damn, $200K for an undrafted free agent on OTB. T-Bob said he got paid $500. Yeah, he's told that story before. When he signed undrafted with the Rams, he got $500. So every team has a pool of undrafted free agent money. Every team's pool is the same, and you can spend it however you want. So to commit $200K to a player, and they did that to 2 players. They gave Abram Smith, the running back, $200K, and that kick returner I was talking about, $200K. And I think Smoke Monday got $120. So they threw 6 figures at 3 different guys, which tells you they are really banking on those guys making this team. Let's see, good morning. The amount of want to, care, and overall knowledge Michael Thomas and Jarvis will bring to this year's wide receiver room. Too hyped? Yes, sir. Shane O'Mac, morning, Matt. Who dat? Road trip to West Monroe, Ruston for stepdaughter's nursing graduation. Know of any good whiskey outlets in the area? I don't, Shane O'Mac, but congrats to your stepdaughter. That's phenomenal news. But shoot, just search for random liquor stores and walk in. You're always more likely to find what you're looking for at places where other people aren't looking. Bengal Tiger, can announcers bet on announcer-based propositions? Yeah, I don't know that there are announcer prop bets like at sports books. Glenn Garner, come on, y'all, I can't smash it for you. Yeah, smash that like button. Appreciate y'all very much. Cagenomics, it's one of the most exciting off seasons. I'm excited about Carmichael calling the offense. The last time he called plays was 2019, had a top offense. He did it, so Cagenomics, I don't remember the years offhand, but he did it 3 times. Pete Carmichael was the primary play caller 3 seasons, and all 3 seasons they were top 5 in the NFL in offense. So I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine calling plays. Okay, I think we're just about done. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Ryan Thibodeau, when is LSU resuming? 11 a.m. So I got to get Drew dressed, get him to daddy's work, get home so I can watch the resumption of the game at 11 a.m. All right, y'all have an awesome day. Have an awesome, awesome day. Like the page, share the post. Remember,
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone, Ontario.
All you
Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Would love it if someone watching right now would click the Hudco link, which is pinned in the comments, and fill out the contact form. Let us come do a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Would love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Y'all have an awesome day. Go Tigers. See ya.